What is up, NFC West football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC West Roundtable, powered by BetUS. Week 14 is in the books, and tonight we turn the page to Week 15 with a couple of absolute gems on the schedule, including a Thursday night divisional showdown. We'll be diving into all of it right here on the Week 15 preview episode of the NFC West Roundtable. So without further ado, let's bring in the fellas, Jake, Mike, Jesse, and Brandon. Boys, can't wait to dive into this, especially looking into that Thursday night game. That is the game that kicks off Week 15, and it got a lot more interesting than it might have been just a couple of days ago with the Bills losing to the Rams and the Niners beating the Bears. This game got a lot riding on it. And with the Rams currently with the second best odds to win the division, it is a massive game for them. And there's still some hope with the Niners. You said, Jesse, they can bounce back to over a 50% chance to make the playoffs with a win, is what you said?
If they win out.
If they win out.
Win out, yes.
Well, you can't win out without winning this one, I suppose. So it's a big one regardless. And this is what's interesting to me, fellas. After what we saw the Rams do to the Bills, you'd think maybe this line would be different, but it's not. The Niners are a 2-point favorite at home right now on BetUS against those Rams on Thursday Night Football. If you want to get in on that game or any of the games we talk about tonight or any of the games in Week 15 in general, use the promo code YouTube150, and that'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next two after that. So that is an interesting line. I don't know if I would expect to see the Niners favored by 2, but that's exactly what they are right now. Mike, I'll start with you. Niners bounce back, dominate the Bears, and the Rams got a huge win over the Bills. So how do you see this game going down on Thursday night to kick off with Week 15?
Usually I would trend to history and go with the 49ers, but I don't know. I just feel like the Rams are now starting to hit their stride right now, and I've probably been a guy that didn't really believe in the Rams for a long time until recency. So I think I'm going to lean on the Rams on this one. Obviously, the 49ers got a really good win, but it was the Chicago Bears at the end of the day. I mean, the Cardinals also beat them like that as well. So I'm going to lean on the fact that the Rams actually had a fantastic win over the Bills. So I'm going to say the Rams on this one. And yes, I know it's still at in San Fran or wherever they play in Santa Clara. Is that where it's at technically? Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. I'm going to say the Rams actually beat the 49ers and complete the sweep on them. And I'm going to say 27-21 Rams.
Brandon, these Rams, they're nipping at your feet, right? The Seahawks are at the top, and this would go a long way for them to continue to try and gain ground on your Seattle Seahawks. So it's a big game for them. And, of course, San Francisco is trying to still stay in the mix as well. So how do you see it going down on Thursday night in this big matchup?
Well, certainly the potential health of Bosa coming back, if he's going to be in, I'd love to know. I don't know where Trent Williams is at. Those are two big pieces that if those are out, that definitely affects your outlook of this game. And I know they're not 100% if they are playing, but they're out. That definitely has me leaning towards the Rams. I think a lot of this is going to come down to how you stop the Rams offense when it's all said and done on this one from the Niners perspective of things. And Jesse's lamented this and some of that simplified defensive nature that my Seahawks had prior coming into this year. And that McVay is the guy, part of him bringing him in and what he did to the Hawks defense prior is he can go after that kind of defense. If what you see is what you get, he has something on the menu to be able to attack you in that way. And that is at the end of the heart of the day, what the Niners have defensively set up. They've had elite athletes and top end talent to get around it. But that's the part that they're going to have to overcome in this game where they may not have that as much as they've had in recent years past. Do you have some adjustments you can make? Do you dial up some kind of blitzes? I think they can be good enough offensively against that Rams defense, but that's where this game really comes down to key. And unfortunately, I think that they're just not going to have enough to do up against that McVay because McVay's got that advantage on this, especially with his two pass catchers back out there in Puka and Cooper. I go 24-17 Rams.
Jake, I'll start with you. You won the first matchup. The question is, will you win the second? Will you exchange the fork for the broom, as we were told on last week's episode? Talk to me. How does it go down on Thursday night?
Yeah, I think the Rams are going to win this one. I think just recently, over the last couple of years now, the Rams have really closed that gap. Before, the 49ers were just the thorn in their side, and recently it just feels like the Rams have just kind of turned it over here. They won last year, as we know. Asterisk, I mean, neither team was starting their starters. It was Sam Darnold versus Carson Wentz. But then, you look at that week 2 game last year, and they showed. I mean, Kyron Williams just became the starting running back, and that game that was competitive. And then they followed it up this year. no Puka Nacua, no Cooper Kupp, and they win 27-24 in a game that really mathematically they had like a 2% chance of winning the majority of the game. Now they're healthy, and the 49ers, while they're getting healthier potentially if Trent Williams and George Kittle play, I know Dre Greenlaw will probably be ready for this one. I expect the Rams to get the best 49er team possible. I think the 49ers know that this is their season on the line, and I think they're aware that the season's probably done because you have to play the Lions, the Cardinals, and the Dolphins left, and neither of those teams are easy. But they're looking at it more importantly as you cannot lose your season to the Rams. You just can't. And you can't get swept. You know, that has been the big conversation. 49er fans have just held that over Rams fans' head for years. Swept. Well, I think the Rams are going to sweep the 49ers, but hold on a sec. This is not going to be a blowout. They're not scoring 40+. I think the Rams do get over 30-point threshold for the third time all year. I think the offense is humming. I think that's what we're going to see. But on a short week, I don't think they're going to be as effective as they were on Sunday. I think that's fair to say. So I'm going to take the Rams 31-24. I think the 49ers will stick around. They might even lead in this game at some point. But I think the Rams, people, if you're expecting a letdown, a disappointment, then you're interpreting and translating that win on Sunday the wrong way. So I have the Rams 31-24.
Jesse, do the Niners avoid the sweep? Can they keep it rolling after what we saw against the Bears?
Man, I would love to pick the Niners. I really would. And I think this game's going to be super close. I have to look at what's ahead. I think Dre Greenlaw is going to play, and that's going to be a massive boost for this team. I don't know that it's going to translate on the field, though. I mean, he's literally walking in, playing his first meaningful snap of the year, and is doing it in a playoff-like atmosphere. I think that early on, you're going to have the energy. I'm sure he'll have the adrenaline going, and he'll look fine early on. But I don't know that he'll be able to keep up for the whole length of this game. I think that's a really, really tough ask. And I also think the Rams are so committed to the run game, whether it's fully effective or not. And that is one thing that the Bears were not ever going to do. They were never going to stay committed to the run game. And any team that stays committed to the run game against the 49ers, you can run the ball on the 49ers. And the Rams are going to force you to stop the run and also stop the pass, because you've got what I believe is the best quarterback in the NFC in Matthew Stafford, paired with that run game with those two great receivers. I think that the game is close. I think it's hard fought. And I just think at the very end, the 49ers will run out of gas defensively. They'll probably give up a late touchdown. That's how the game ends, 27-24 Rams.
Let's move to the 4:25 p.m. window where the Cardinals are looking to snap their 3-game losing streak, taking on the New England Patriots. This one is in Arizona. Brandon, I'll start with you. Can the Cardinals find a way to bounce back here and somehow salvage the end of the season?
They can. I think it's a bit of a tough matchup for what the Patriots give you as far as defensively, and Drake May can be dangerous against this Cardinal offense. But I feel like the Cardinals are looking for a bounce back kind of game from where they're going to come, and that you're going to get their best effort. The fact this is on at home rather than on the road, you know, they like to say Vegas will give you 3 points. I think this would be that one where I'd say these are pretty even teams down to it, I think, and where they're playing at right now and where they're at. But I would give that home field advantage by just a little bit to the Cardinals, especially in that 1 o'clock time frame for us here on the West versus playing 10 a.m., which I might be apt to say, well, you're probably losing it on that one. So it's the Cardinals don't have any real, I think, adjustments here. They just got to be who they are and do it better. And that's really what I would expect from them today. Just run better, go back to the physical line of scrimmage, dial up those blitzes on Drake May. And I think that's where they're going to get him, is that they are willing to run so many of those creative fronts. They'll be able to confuse May. They'll be able to get him after him, I think, at times, even if they don't have their pass rush, able to get it done with just a front four. I'd go, by the way, score on that one I think is going to be a 20-17, kind of a lower scoring game.
Jake, how do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I think this is I agree entirely with Brandon. I think this is a tough matchup. I thought it was a tough matchup when the Rams played them. The Patriots, they have a defense, with Mayo, they are going to get after Kyler Murray. They had 29 pressures against Caleb Williams, and they did a lot, getting 8 sacks in that game on a mobile quarterback. I think it's going to be a close game, kind of like what we just saw with the Colts. Patriots lost a heartbreaker, 25-24. I mean, literally on the final play of the game. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game, though. They have lost 3 straight. They have not won since they beat the Jets, and they destroyed them back on November 10th. They got to get back in the win column. Yeah, it sucks to lose to Seattle twice in the last 3. They lost a 1-point game to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not ready to say that the floodgates have opened, the Cardinals are done, because if they lose to the Patriots, they have no chance. So this is their season, and I just don't think at home they're going to let down their fans, against the Patriots. I'll go 24-10, Cardinals.
Well, I'm interested to see what Mike has to say in a minute here, but before we do, Jesse, your thoughts on how it goes down against New England for Arizona?
Yeah, you've got 2 teams that are desperate for different reasons. Obviously, the Cardinals are trying to hang on to any sliver of hope of making the playoffs and winning this division. And then you've got the Patriots, who all of a sudden their head coach is on the hot seat. So curious to see what happens in this game. I do ultimately have to lean with the team that is at home, and that's Arizona. Am I right about that?
You
Okay,
are.
so I will go with them to go 23-20, but I wouldn't be shocked either way in this one.
Mike, Jake said that the Cardinals don't want to embarrass their fans. That brought you to a
I was just going to say, what
high-pitched
fans?
laugh. Yeah. So talk to
I
me.
was being nice. Come on.
I know. I appreciate it. I was actually going to say thank you, everybody, for being really, really generous and nice, and obviously picking the Cardinals here. And it's because of the matchup, right? It's because of the matchup of the Patriots. And when you look at them, you look at the Cardinals, you think that the Cardinals should be, the second year, and we should be, and you should. This is the game that you can't lose. Now, right now, where the fans base stands, we are split. It's not even funny. Like, people are talking about bringing Josh Dobbs back. Clayton Tune, we just heard in the last live stream that we were on. So, like, it's getting pretty bad right now. This is a game that Kyler Murray needs to win. I don't care if it's a James Conner game, but the win is exactly what this fan base is looking for. They don't care if Kyler Murray, doesn't play. We want to win. That's what it is. This is a tough matchup. It really is. The defense over there is better than most people are anticipating. They see a 3-win team with the Patriots, and they're like, oh, we got this. The Cardinals on paper should win this. But, like, really realistically looking at it, I mean, the keys to success to beat the Cardinals is pressure Kyler Murray and rattle him, and he makes silly mistakes. So I'm curious to figure out how this Arizona Cardinal offense is going to be able to protect Kyler Murray when they got a very good defensive mind head coach over there that's, arguably fighting for his job as well. They're going to want to win this game. I don't think home field advantage is going to really do very much other than we're not going to have to play in the elements. I mean, that's really good. I don't know. I want to lean on the Cardinals on this game, but right now I'm so freaking down on this team that I don't even know what's going to happen. Okay, let's do this. Let's say the Cardinals win 19-17. Cardinals win.
I like it. Let's turn our sights to Sunday Night Football, boys. I can't wait for this one. This is a doozy. The 9-4 Green Bay Packers heading out to Seattle to take on the 12th man and the Seahawks. This is a hell of a matchup. I'm stoked that it's on Sunday Night Football. It's a big game for Seattle to maintain their lead in the West, and it's real interesting in the Green Bay's division, how things are going down right now. They're coming off of their loss to Detroit down to the wire. Meanwhile, same division-type matchup for Seattle this past week, getting a W over Arizona. So a lot on the line in this one in terms of NFC seeding, and it'll be under the lights out in Seattle. So with that, Jake, how do you see it going down between the Packers and the Seahawks in a big matchup in Week 15?
Yeah, it's tough because this game is going to be so close, and we don't know if Kenneth Walker's going to play. We don't know if Romeo Doubs is going to play, or Jair Alexander. But based on what I believe, I think Seattle's going to win this game. It's in prime time. Last time the Seahawks and Packers were in prime time, we know what happened, the whole Hail Mary thing. But I just think if this was in Green Bay, I would absolutely take Green Bay. But I think Seattle, their home record is actually really misleading. They're 3-4, but they're on a 4-game win streak, and I just feel like they've really repaired everything that was holding them back. They've gotten healthier, and these guys are just, they're buying into the culture. They're buying into McDonald. The defense is stepping up. They're stopping the run. And if you could stop Josh Jacobs, which I believe they can, and Josh Jacobs has been stopped this year, then I think it puts Jordan Love in a tough spot. And Jordan Love, he's a gunslinger. He'll throw 21 touchdowns, but he's thrown 11 picks. And he's had a lot of bad decisions that haven't hurt him because of dropped interceptions. So I'm going to say Seattle gets a late game interception to seal it, 30-27. Absolute thriller on Sunday Night Football, and we need it because, guys, don't look at that Monday Night Football doubleheader. It is disgusting.
I know. I
Who thought of that?
I don't know. Terrible.
What the hell?
Awful.
8 and 8:30? I'm done.
Jesse, we're going to have to savor this one because it is one of the better games of the weekend. So when you're looking at it, who takes it on Sunday night?
Man, I think Green Bay is just so beatable. I mean, their record is fantastic. I get all of that, but I agree with everything Jake said. Jordan Love has been prematurely just thrown into this elite category, and I don't understand why. I think he's a very talented quarterback, but he is a bit of a turnover machine. Fun to watch. Packers fans are very lucky. You know, it's not just because a quarterback's good doesn't mean they're fun to watch. He is very fun to watch. I will give him that. But he's going to turn the ball over in this game. And if he doesn't, I will be shocked. I just think ultimately in Seattle, this is a game that I think a lot of in-division fans are expecting Seattle to drop. They're looking at the schedule going, all right, well, listen, Seattle's going to lose to the Packers. They'll lose to the Vikings. This should give us our chance, and I just don't see it happening in this one. I think Seattle's going to win. I think their defense is for real. And if K9 plays especially, now they've got the two-headed monster there at running back, it's going to be really, really tough for the Packers. So I'm going to go 27-21 Seattle.
Mike, how's it going down Sunday night against the Seahawks and the Packers?
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago I would have said that the Packers would have for sure, but now I changed my mind for sure. This Seahawks team is for real, man. We had our run game going this last week. I mean, we had 90 yards from James Conner, but still, like, it never felt like the Cardinals were even in this game. Like, they have a way, man. With Geno Smith, they're just making clutch things happen, even if he's pressured. So I'm actually going to lean on and basically everything that Jake and Jesse said here. I'm going to say that Seattle Seahawks actually win this game. I'm going to say actually 35-31 Seahawks.
Damn, Brandon, a lot of love for these Hawks. Do you have the same love for your own Hawks on Sunday night? Do they get it done against Green Bay?
Warms my heart, the confidence of my compatriots in here. I will tell you that first and foremost. I think that they covered the details very well of what we got coming into this game. It does to me with Jacobs. Before we get to Love, it does start with Jacobs. Stopping that run, forcing them to become one-dimensional. I do have confidence in our offense with this Packer defense is going to be able to make some hay because it's a Packer defense that's just all right. And they do struggle at times to generate some consistent pass rush. And that's, of course, what's maybe given our offense the most problems is those defenses that can run those fronts that are talented across the board, and they can just come at you and drop everybody back in coverage with 7, and you're kind of stuck because they're still bringing the heat, but the passing windows are closed. They're not going to be able to do that. So stopping the pass, Jordan Love is also a quarterback that is very much benefited from LaFleur's scriptedness in that he scripts him up a play to get that read open, that initial read he'll look to. You get Love going into second and third read mode. You get him in more in improvisation, and that's where you can catch him. So that's going to be the big key here. But I agree with the rest of my guys. I think that they're very smart men in this chat and in this channel, and that they're seeing this game very clearly at this time of the year. As Mike had said earlier on this was week 4. This was week 10. Probably would have given it to the Packers. Someone else said in here, I think it was Jesse, this was in Green Bay, 10 a.m. Probably give it to the Packers. But prime time, giving the 12th man all day to get sloshed and drunk out of their mind and crazy to turn that place into an absolute madhouse. Look out, Green Bay. I'm going Seattle, 27-24.
Ooh, baby. I can't wait for that one. I can't wait for week 15 in general. There's actually some great games on the docket this upcoming weekend. So can't wait to dive into it. Can't wait to dive back into it with all of you next week when we recap everything we saw in week 15. On your way out the door, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button if you'd be so kind. Also, take advantage of the YouTube 150 promo code on BetUS. That'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next 2 after that. For Jake, Mike, Brandon, and Jesse, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much for tuning in to the NFC West Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.
Go Hawks.